Good afternoon and welcome to another quarter-final that we will soon find out the fourth protagonist in this year's Search of the Paddy Moncler Cup. We're in Claremorris today. We've been in so many pitches around the grounds. It's going to be another intriguing contest. And joining me is Billy McNicholas. And Billy, this Connacht Gold Mayo Senior Football Championships has thrown up some results this weekend. Brafey being eliminated earlier, another game that was live, and Knockmore surviving a last-minute penalty, and Westport coming from 3 points down with 4 minutes to play to win by a point. And today, this game is finally poised as well.
It is, yeah. I mean, this is the time of the championship knockout now, Tom, when it gets really good. And, there's no room now for errors anymore. There's no losers group in this, so it's winner take all. And the games yesterday, you say Ballina had it in the bag. A few little mistakes, and they made in the last 3 or 4 minutes, Tom, that cost them the game. The penalty for Ballintubber, I suppose, to be really wondering about that one. But a great save by the goalie. That was a brilliant save by that young goalkeeper.
It was indeed.
I'm sure he's lauded today in Knockmore.
He is indeed. After the number one took ill during the game, and he came in and he acquitted himself very, very well. Kickouts were superb. But today it's all about Garrymore and Castlebar, and Garrymore going in search of their first Moncler Cup since 1982. 39 years. You were still playing then, Billy.
I was indeed.
And many's the game you had against Garrymore. Many's the game you had against Garrymore.
No. I have to be very careful here today, Tom.
He has to be very diplomatic.
I could get lynched over Garrymore.
We'll say nothing and keep saying it. But Castlebar were on for the 4 in a row. They got to 2017, 1-3, and they didn't qualify last year. It's been a period of transition for them. They've up against it today. Garrymore's form has been excellent, unbeaten in the league, topped their league. In the league they were unbeaten, in Championship they're unbeaten this year, and the standout players for them have been the likes of Caelan Crowe, Gary Golden, Mark Tierney. They've all produced, and Shane Nally.
Oh, they have. If you look at Garrymore, if you go through their half-back line of Trevor Nally, who I reckon is probably one of the best club footballers in Mayo over the last 10 years. Caelan Crowe, who's was outstanding against Brafey the other last week. And into Hessian, just after coming off the Mayo squad. And then in midfield you have Gary Golden, who's a mountain of a man. And there isn't too many midfielders in Mayo that can handle him. And the experience of David Dolan with him. Lee Corkin, very exciting player. Paul Deely, an old head there, great for setting up scores. Shane Nally again. You just go through the Mark Tierney.
We'll go through the Garrymore team in depth for you. It's Brian Linsky in goal, Jamie Oates, Kenneth Lydon and Justin Commons. In the half-back line, as Billy mentioned, is Trevor Nally, Caelan Crowe the captain, and into Hessian. In midfield is David Dolan and Gary Golden. Liam O'Corkin, Paul Deely and Shane Nally complete the half-forward line. In the full forward line you have Mark Tierney, Darren Quinn, and in for Michael Connolly is down to start at 15, but it's number 20, Cathal Slattery, who'll be starting for them. On Castlebar, well, they were disappointed to hear that Donald Vaughan wouldn't be able to play because of a hamstring strain, so they line out as follows: Rory Byrne, Mark Dolan, Donny Newcombe, Donnachie McHugh. The half-back line is Ger McDonough, John Maughan and Paddy Durkin. In midfield you have Kevin and Fergal Durkin. In the half-forward line is Owen O'Reilly, Neil Douglas and Danny Kirby. The full forward line is Paddy Heenahan, James Durkin and Ultan O'Reilly, as we pause for Auron Naveen. Thankfully, the rain has held off for us here with this 4 o'clock throw-in, and there's a nice crowd on the far side in the stand here in Claremorris, and there's plenty of support players here, and there's both substitutes. We were pointing out the likes of Enda Varley to come in. Yep. You've got the likes of Mark Gibbons. You've got the likes of Patrick Hession for Garrymore. Yep. For Castlebar, you've got the experience of Barry Moran. You've got Paul Walsh, who had an excellent game against Ballahadreen when he came in. So there's supporting players and all
Boyle
of this.
As well,
and Owen Boyle, who came in and scored 3 points for the injured Donald Vaughan.
He was the winner of that game against Ballahadreen, really.
He was indeed, and Liam Devaney, our referee, is almost ready to get us underway. The only thing we're missing is actually a football, which...
we cannot play without that now.
So who's your
There's
money
normally about 40 footballs around.
There is, and they're all hidden when the game starts.
Yeah.
So Liam Devaney is getting his Leroji sorted. As we said, it's been a day of action all around the county, and there was relegation playoffs and quarterfinals plenty. So the final pairing are underway here in Claremorris, and that's Gary Golden driving forward as is his style with his top knot on, looking to come around on the loop there. Good work by Owen O'Reilly. O'Reilly trying to find Jerry McDonough, comes back inside, and that's going to drop short in the breeze. The breeze will favour Castlebar in this opening half. It's quite strong. Danny Kirby been marshalled really closely there by Shane Nally. Plays it up the line, player available. But Castlebar looking to run the ball from their half back line. Missed challenge there by Darren Quinn. The rain, as if the commentator's curse has just about started again, and that's played forward, but that's going to take on the breeze and go wide. But it's going to be who can make the better of the conditions, Billy, now that the rain has started.
Yeah, there's always that little bit of a breeze blowing this way here in Claremorris, and whoever takes advantage of that, Castlebar have it in the first half. So
Brian Linsky will have his first kick into the wind and rain, driving into his face. The famous pitch here in Claremorris with its slope that teams in the second half don't particularly like running up, as Linsky drives it out into the sky, holds up a little bit on the breeze. Golden gets a touch, trying to win the break. There was Nally, couldn't get a first time hand to it, but Garrymore come away with the ball. Golden again, looking for options. Little kick pass inside. Yellow shirts back in numbers, swallow up the player in possession, and they're hunting in 2s, 3s and 4s in these early stages. Shane Nally, little bit of space for Nally, gets it in field, couldn't take it at the first attempt. There's still a chance of a score if they can work it. Coming back out around was Mark Tierney, and if Darren Quinn could have got that ball into his hands early, there was a chance of a score. But Garrymore patient in the build-up as the rain starts to come a little bit heavier. The umbrellas are going up here in front of us, and there's an overlap here if they want to use it. Enda Hession, as he has done for Mayo all year, he's going to have a crack with his left foot. Enda Hession with a sweetly struck strike into the rain. Opening point of the game, very well taken.
Brilliant score by Enda Hession. It was patient build-up by Garrymore. I know Quinn got a great chance. If he had held that ball first time, there could have been a goal on, but they recycled it right across pitch and then went to the far side of the field where they got space, and Hession came on the end of it, and that was a marvellous struck pint from way out.
Kick out goes to midfielder Kevin Durkin. He gets it his pass away, looking for options. Little kick pass to the top of the right. Ball hopping up just a little bit too high there, took Owen O'Reilly a bit by surprise, but he's managed to flick it off, gives it to the midfielder coming through, and that's tapped over the bar. Oh no, it's wide.
Wide, yeah.
Wide, looked like it had cut
good
inside
chance,
there.
Yeah, it was a tight angle, and there was pressure on him, Tom, as well.
It's interesting to see the setups. It's man for man. There's no sweepers employed in these opening few minutes of this game here. Live for you on Mayo GATV, the Connacht Gold Mayo Senior Football Championship quarter-final. Gary Golden faced up by Danny Kirby. Paddy Heenan in close proximity to Enda Hession. That'll be a good battle there between those two today. Enda Hession, as we know, will drive on and run.
Players,
two good young players, emerging talents here in Mayo. Trevor Nally spots the player in space. It's the fullback, Kenneth Lydon. Trying to play a little pass round the corner. Mark Tierney comes from behind his marker and wins it. Quick exchange of hand passes. Give it to Colin Slattery. Slattery's in behind. He's going to have a go. He just takes the best option, fists it over the bar. Castlebar had pulled 3 or 4 defenders back. Rory Byrne was poised to save, but sensible option.
The one thing Slattery has is fierce pace, and you know when he takes on a man, once he gets a step past him, Tom, he's gone, and it's over the bar.
Kick out goes Garrymore's way. Mark claimed by David Doland. Gary Golden available again, sending plenty of ball in these opening stages. They have 2 players on the overlap here. It's the full forward Darren Quinn. He looks at the posts, but he's pulled that to the left and wide.
Yeah, Golden is really controlling the middle of the field at the moment, Tom. He's a powerful man. Yeah.
Short kick out this time goes to the centre back, John Maughan. And Castlebar hoping to break a little bit of this Garrymore rhythm as the rain is going sideways. You can probably see it on your TV screens. It's right into the faces of the players. The referee, Liam Devaney, decides that the player was impeded when he was taking the free, and it's taken quickly. Slattery. Just outside the Claremorris 45. Looking for options. That ball is going to hold up on that breeze, and whether it was by intent or design, Darren Quinn came onto it and he's hit a massive thump of a shot at the post, but that's gone to the left and wide. So 2 wides in the space of a minute for Garrymore. They'll want to
maybe kicking from the wrong
side,
distance. They maybe worked the ball a bit closer to the goal on them last 2 occasions.
Kick out from Rory Byrne out to midfield towards Kirby. It's broken kindly for Trevor Nally. He's nudged in the back as he goes for it, but it's gone out over the sideline, so it's going to be a little give and go here. Paddy Durkin hasn't seen any of the ball yet, and he's hoping to break pace. Once Paddy Durkin gets out up ahead of steam, he's very difficult to stop, as Mark Dolan looking for the run of the corner forward. Little soccer style flick, but Enda Hessian is there to pick up the pieces. That's a loose hand pass, and it's turned over inside their own half. It's going to be a chance of a score here. Gets onto the good side of... Well, a bit surprised there from Neil Douglas. It was coming around, and that should have been bread and butter for him.
That was a great chance. There was even a half a chance of a goal there, Tom, if he went for it. But, onto his left foot. But he lost his balance as he kicked. And a bad wide for Castlebar.
Short kick out as the rain has died low for the moment. Garrymore lead 2 points to no score in the opening 5 minutes of this Connacht Gold Senior Football Championship quarter-final. As we said, we already know the other three protagonists in this. Westport with their last gasp winner, Knockmore and Belmullet surprise winners today over Brafey. No surprise to the Belmullet men, but no, I'm sure it was a bit of a surprise to the rest of the county, as Garrymore are on the attack again, being driven forward by Caelan Crowe. He's had an outstanding season so far. Sells the dummy, steps inside, they're going inside. It's going to be a chance of another goal. Rory Byrne. Brilliant save from the Coolbarra. But it was far too easy to get through the Castlebar cover.
The pace of Crowe there from centre half back, the kind of football he's playing now, explosive, fast football. He drives out of the centre half back position through the midfield, lays off a pass or two. But that kind of pace is very hard to stop, Tom.
It is indeed, and Castlebar are finding it difficult with its crash runners breaking the crash runners of Garrymore breaking the Castlebar line. So it's going to be a 45 for Garrymore into that strong breeze. Mark Tierney's going to have a hit at it. It's going to hold up on the breeze. It's just gone to the right and wide. That's their third wide now in 3 wides in 3 attacks, and you have to say those chances need to be converted in.
Yeah, but it was a good save by Rory Byrne, a great save by Byrne.
Kick out long again, goes over the head of the intended target. Dolan looking long inside, great ball towards Slattery, tried to claim it first time to get the mark. He has a runner coming through, it's Gary Golden. They're in behind the Castlebar defence again. Golden onto his left boot, and Gary Golden, it's got a touch on it, so it's another 45. But again, that ball is catching them out.
Yeah, they're creating chances, Tom, and they need to convert them maybe, because they're really on top now around the centre of the field and half back. They're winning everything, and they just need to convert those kind of scores now. That's four wides. Well, they have a 45 out of this one.
Yeah, so they have 3 wides and 2 45s in the. It's a similar. Is he going to take a short this time? Yeah, he's got a player free. He gives it to him. Trying to get away from his marker, Nally. Coming around on the loop. They're just controlling the game at the moment, Garrymore. Happy to move the ball with confidence. He's going to have a go from distance with his left boot. That is a super score from Shane Nally, and that's a player of his quality and experience
that's a Shane Nally
the ball with confidence.
That's a Shane Nally special.
He's going to have a go from distance with his left boot. That is a super score from Shane Nally.
Why doesn't he have a go from there? And he did.
He did straight. He was right in front of the black spot, and Castlebar find themselves 3 down with 8 minutes gone, but they're in trying to engineer a score here. James Durkin as a player breaking off his shoulder. That little pop pass to Douglas. Douglas now has a look at the post. He's hopefully going to have a better go at this one. And he does, and he registers the first score of the game for Castlebar. 3 points to 1, 9 minutes gone.
Yeah, good move there. Yeah, good bit of interchange passing, good support play. It looked like James Durkin was going to pull the trigger, but he's seen Douglas in a better position.
That's a bad kick out there for Garrymore. It goes straight to the corner back. Duncan McHugh leaves it off to his midfielder, Kevin Durkin. He's had a go from downtown. That's some score there, Billy.
That's a marvellous score. I couldn't believe that was going to happen there, Tom, because, but Kevin Durkin is a name I hadn't been on the team the last day, I think.
I think he was there thereabouts.
Okay.
The sun now is out. We've had 4 seasons in one day almost here.
Yeah, you're going to have that.
As that ball holds up on the breeze. Good mark claim by Danny Kirby. Won it out in front of Gary Golden, but that's kicked away. Poor ball into the cluster of players there at centre half back, and Garrymore defence happy to swallow up any kind of ball, but should be maybe looking to make more use of the widths, Billy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Back around they go. Garrymore, good ball out in front, one by Slattery, but he's pinged something there.
Yeah.
There's something.
Maybe the boot came off a bit.
Yeah, his boot. I thought for a second the way he pulled up, I thought it was.
He had a bit of trouble with hamstring.
Something
in the last few weeks, and
he's
I
limping.
thought once he hopped on his leg there that the hamstring was in trouble, but no.
I think it might have been where the boot flew off, maybe caught his ankle. He's limping at the moment,
so came off. Yeah,
we'll see how he goes. In the meantime, it's going to be a free for Garrymore. Tierney has the ball in his hands. He's about 15 metres in from the sideline. He's going to take it off the ground. He's 30 metres, but probably 40 on the diagonal.
Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah,
especially into that strong breeze. Garrymore have 3 or 4 men around the edge of the square just in case.
No.
And he's didn't really make a good connection with that at all. And that's gone wide again. That's their 4th wide.
I make it 5.
5 wides. But they're playing into that breeze. That breeze, you'd have to think, Billy, with the strength that's in it, it has to be a 3 or 4 point breeze.
The way breezes go, they could die awful fast, Tom.
Enda Hessian and Dave and Kevin go for the same ball, and it's broken kindly for the cornerback Duncan McHugh. Held up by Hessian. There's plenty of yellow shirts around for them to use. Neil Douglas trying to engineer something. Eventually it comes back. And coming off the shoulder. Good work by Kirby. They're going to have another go from distance. Is this going to have the range or the accuracy? It had the range, but it didn't have the accuracy. That's the 3rd wide of the game for Castlebar so far. And there's these missed chances.
They have in the last 2 or 3 minutes. They begin to come back into it.
They have indeed. As the sun now will be right into the faces of the Garrymore players. We've just come up to 12 minutes gone. And Garrymore breaking down the right side, looking for a diagonal ball inside. It's going to be taken. It's broken kindly. There's a player's free left if they shift it over. They do, and they give it to the centre half forward, Paul Deely, who just peeled away after knocking the ball down, put himself in the perfect position, and a lovely score with the left boot.
Paul doesn't miss those kind of chances. He's very accurate. He's very good. Once he gets on that left boot, it's going to land on target.
Good mark claimed in the middle of the field, and they're looking to move it on. They've been told to bring it up. He was not allowed to take it from where he wanted, but they find Paddy Heenahan. Player coming off the shoulder. He's going to have a go, and that's gone to the left and wide. And these chances, Donny Newcombe there usually has a better finish than that.
He has, but probably coming up from the back. Maybe Paddy Heenahan. I thought Paddy was on the left foot there, that he might have taken it on from there.
So Linsky, the cap on, goes long to the middle of the field to that pod of players. Another mark claimed by Castlebar. Lovely little ball around the corner to James Durkin. Closely marshalled by Jamie Oates. He's trying to cut into his right boot, but Oates keeps him out. Recycle the ball out to Douglas. Castlebar now just looking for those little pockets of space, and that's a snapshot that's going to drop into the square to Linsky. Nobody challenging inside. Owen O'Reilly's shot just held up on the breeze, and Garrymore are finding it a little bit difficult to break out of their own 45, but eventually worked the ball to Hessian. And Enda Hessian is off to the races. And they're having trouble chasing him. He's got an option here left if he switches it. Liam O'Horkin is trying to get up with the play as well. Little ball round the corner, not taken first time, and it comes off the knee of Darren Quinn and goes out over the sideline for a sideline ball.
Yeah, Hessian's pace is something else when he starts to move from half back line.
They have to be very careful not let him build up ahead of St. John Mahon's legs are clipped there by Paul Deely. Paddy Heenan being told to get out of there because he's too deep. They don't have any sort of target player inside. The only one left inside the Garrymore 21 they have inside, just trying to make moves. They're trying to shift players around. Ulton O'Reilly was on his own, and Paddy Heenan is joining this attack. Goes to Donny Newcombe. Infield, Kirby under pressure from Gary Golden to Paddy Durkin. Paddy with his hustling, bustling style pops it off to the brother. Bit of a mix and match of hand passing here, and the ball slips through the hands of Danny Kirby. It goes back to Paddy Durkin. Paddy trying to kick over the Garrymore defence, has a player free, gets it to Neil Douglas, and that's more like it. That's what he can do if you give him that time and space. That shot coming around around on the right.
Douglas is one of the best over the years as a scoring forward in Mayo, and you'd often wonder why he didn't play for Mayo more, because he's a scoring forward, but sometimes we don't like scoring forwards in Mayo. But he's a great scorer. That was a great
second point of the game for him.
Back over the shoulder,
yeah. That's the one that he likes to win that ball and spins on a dime. And Castlebar are closing the distance. It's down to a single score, and now we have Paddy Heenan having a go with his left boot, and Paddy Heenan with his first shot in anger. He ties it up.
He can do that all day, Paddy Heenan. I've watched him at underage level for Castlebar. He can do that all day.
So it's 4 points apiece.
Yeah, in the last 5 minutes, Castlebar have settled into this game, Tom.
In the last 5 minutes, they've outscored Garrymore 4-1. That'll be a little bit of concern now for Damien Egan and his selectors, because they've started to lose the battle around the middle of the field, and there's another ball that doesn't go their way. The Garrymore kick-out seems to be focused on that cluster of players in the middle, and here goes James Durkin trying to sell the dummy. Gives it back, but that's mishit. Is it going to fall kindly? Oh. Looked like there was Neil Douglas was in there, but Brian Linsky held firm and was able, but there was a mishit shot by Paddy O'Reilly from Ulton O'Reilly.
It could have ended up in the net, but Linsky did very well there. He read it well. He didn't come off his line. He stayed for the break to come.
So many times you've seen
sensible thing.
That's it. So many times you've seen goalies come out and try and claim that ball.
Yeah, I think if he had come out, the ball was in the net, I think.
So Garrymore under pressure the last 3 or 4 minutes from Castlebar, trying to get something going again. They're holding with their 3 forwards in full forward. They're rotating them around, just trying to move the Castlebar defence. Caelan Crowe, lovely little pop pass, gets to Golden, going into the centre, comes back out. Little loopy pass, gets it backed round again. Nice little interchange of play between Deely and Quinn. And that ends with another fine score just on the water break. Puts Garrymore back into the lead. It's 5 points to 4.
Yeah, what Garrymore have, they have very accurate forwards that can score, each and every one of them there. Horkin, Deely, Nally, Mark Tierney. 4 of the forwards have scored already there, and in the Hessian from back in defence. Yeah,
and Castlebar really, after being initially, 3 points to no score down, got it back into it. Come back into it. But the biggest thing for me at the moment is the way that both teams seem intent on maybe going one past too many to try and get a score.
In the conditions, but even the breeze, you just wonder about the breeze. In a day like this, Tom, the breeze can die, and that is the scoring goal down there. Always has been.
Always has been the scoring goal.
We always hear about that in every pitch.
Every club has a scoring goal.
They have a scoring goal.
They have a scoring goal. Well, we take the water break, as we said, Billy. The draw will be taken this evening, and there'll be some monumental semi-finals.
Big ones. Yeah. Belmullet it wasn't a surprise to me, Tom, because I've seen them last year against Garrymore down in Ballina, and they beat Garrymore without Ryan O'Donoghue. And I said, yeah, now they missed out on a quarter-final spot by a point. I think the Neil beat them to a quarter-final by a score difference of 1 point. But they should have been in a quarter-final. They're a good team. They beat Knockmore out there.
Yeah.
No flash in the
No
pan.
easy there, yeah.
And they're
one of the top scorers in Championship so far,
course,
scoring
yeah.
638.
Yeah, they are.
Castlebar by turn have the lowest scores and one of the tighter defences. So the biggest problem Castlebar have had is getting goals. The referee says Liam Devaney has taken too long. That's going to be a hot ball.
No.
It's going to be a free.
Yeah. Well,
so
don't know what that's for, really.
Maybe there was a pull on Paddy Durkin's jersey. I don't know. But Castlebar are greatly appreciative because they're back on the attack. But that ball is just wasted and gone out. Hit on the breeze.
Too far.
Yeah, as you can see from the flags over on the stand on the far side.
Yeah, the two forwards had made the break, Tom.
They had.
There was a possible score on there if it landed right, but it was just a bit too much.
Paddy Heenan now seems to have gone out to midfield. He's tracking David Dolan, which seems a strange move, as the kick out is contested well there by Garrymore and by Shane Nally, and they're definitely pushing up on Linsky when he receives the ball as Gary Golden. There's Danny Kirby for company, as he had all game so far. Garrymore working it across their own 45. Enda Hessian, who had such a fantastic year with Mayo, a real emerging talent. Two Garrymore players collide into each other. That's the problem you'll have when you don't move the ball quick enough, and Castlebar will try and convert this into a score. James Durkin is going to try and take his opposite number for a run. There's a player free. Olsen comes into Paddy Heenan. He's trying to get back on his left. Good defensive work there by Jamie Oates. Gets a hand in. Falls kindly for Castlebar. Back to Gavin Durkin. He drops that inside, and that's unfortunate. Couldn't get over the bar as Brian Linsky shows all his skills as he breaks out with the ball. Fantastic serving for Garrymore.
Great goalkeeper Brian. Good safe pair of hands all the time.
And Castlebar didn't produce any kind of lethal run or injection of pace to convert that turnover, as Garrymore kicked the ball away. And there's a pull on the jersey there of Mark Dolan, but the referee says he's an advantage, and Paddy Durkin will go back to Rory Byrne. Byrne up to John Maughan. John composed. As you can see, the ground starting to tear up a little bit as Castlebar again trying to work the perfect score all the time, and they're running into alleys where Garrymore want them to go. And he's pulled to the ground. That's a free. Gavin pulls him down, and then Garrymore take it quickly. They're trying to catch Castlebar on the counter-attack. Enda Hessian is all on his own if they want to switch it to the far post. He's still there. Nobody's picking him up.
Wow.
But that chance is gone. Tracking him back was Neil Douglas. And there was an opportunity there, Billy, if they'd switched that ball at all.
A little bit of vision there. You need that kind of vision. You need that kind of vision that will take in the whole pitch.
David Dolan trying to work a score with Nally. He's going to try and cross it to the edge of the square to Hessian. Hessian trying to win it over the head of Douglas. He manages to do so! That came all about because, as we mentioned just a few seconds ago, Enda Hessian was all on his own. Neil Douglas had tracked him back. There was a mismatch in height. It was a good ball in from Nally. Picked out Enda Hessian, took the ball over the head of his opposite number.
Great
and a great finish low.
In there and finished it low into the net. But it was the one thing that Garrymore lacked there in that last attack where they didn't see Hessian.
22 minutes gone, and Liam Devaney says it was a high challenge, and it's it's going to be a hot ball. So 2 fouls. 2 fouls equal a hot ball, and Gary Golden and Danny Kirby contesting. Gary Golden is going forward again. Powerful running from the Golden. Gives it to Lydon. Lydon gives it to Cathal Slattery, recovered from his injured knock. Little pass inside, a bit low to the ground. Tries to take it soccer style. Slattery frustrated with himself. He beats the ground in frustration. And there's a clip there on John Maughan as he tries to come out, caught by Paul Deely. But Garrymore, the goal was a great finish, 22 minutes. And then Enda Hessian is needed now back in defensive. He's just on the 6 On the centre forward line, he's been told by his sideline here to push forward at every opportunity. Castlebar again, just interchanging intricate hand passes, trying to create some space. James Durkin's going to have a go off his left, gets the head down over the ball, and that's a lovely finish from him.
Yeah, good response from James Durkin there, but Castlebar are dangerous in the attack. They're finding that little bit of space.
And Hessian got the game going with a point in the second minute. He's just got a goal 20 minutes later. So Garrymore 1-5, Castlebar 5 points. It's that goal is the difference between the two sides. Paddy Heenan's going to have a go look at the sideline ball. He's taking his time about it, looking for moving. He plays an intricate little ball between two sets of players, and then the Hessian read the danger, and they were happy to go back across their own goal. Linsky. Carried forward by Shane Nally. Into Golden. Oh, that's a mishit pass by Gary Golden. He tried to hit it on the turn. James Durkin was happy to take it off him. Owen O'Reilly looking for support. It comes back infield, gives it to Danny Kirby. He has a look at the post, and Danny Kirby puts that over the bar. It's 6 points Castlebar, 1-5 Garrymore, and it's game on here in Glenmorris.
They're finding the scores pretty easy to come by, Tom. Castlebar, when they attack, the Garrymore defence are not tightening up enough, I think,
Yeah, there's little intricate ones and twos, and it's the give and go, and they're looking for the
little
pocket.
bit of space,
Long kick out again by Linsky. Going to go grateful hands of Kirby. He didn't call the mark. The referee blew the whistle, let him have it, and Danny Kirby signals to his teammates it's going long, but couldn't retain possession of a wet ball inside, and Linsky is able to clear his lines. Up to Trevor Nally. Nally gets away from one, doesn't get away from two, but gets a free off James Durkin. The referee says bring it up as he was being obstructed by Fergal, and he quick pass to Slattery. Slattery, what he wants to do is to just sell that little dummy and cut inside, and he's released the player freeze. Dolan's been driving forward. Lovely little pass back to Quinn. He has a go straight in front of the post on the breeze, his second of the game.
Great
super
points,
finish.
Great points by Quinn. He has a great left boot as well, as a lot of the Garrymore forwards have. Once they get into a shooting position, they're very, very accurate.
25 minutes gone in the first half here, and it's nip and tuck all the way as Garrymore get the kick out. Pass popped over Sean O'Corkin. Gary Golden now looking for support, has it in the shape of Dealey. Dealey has Enda Hessian free again as he was a moment ago, and Enda Hessian has all the composure. He scored one off his right, he scored a goal with his right, and now he's just popped it over with his left.
He has a goal and 2 points from left half back, which is a great return. But he's that kind of player. He's just a brilliant kind of player. He's full of energy. He's full of running, and he gets into all kinds of positions.
Castlebar lose another kick out, and Sean O'Corkin, who created that opportunity a moment ago, gives it off for the midfielder, and he kicks it as he was sliding down. He felt he was impeded as he struck the ball, and Dolan noticeably is driving forward. He's power running through the line.
Went off balance really as he kicked, but maybe got a little bit of help, I suppose. Tom as well.
And again, the referee Liam Devaney.
I don't know what's going on there.
He's and now there's going to be a booking, because the Garrymore forwards have obviously decided that they're going to frustrate the kick out of Rory Byrne and at every opportunity disrupt the play. It's going to be a yellow card for Mark Tierney.
He knocked the ball out of
Paddy Durkin's hands.
So
a yellow card for him.
But I don't know what's happening with the kicks out, Tom. I can't understand that. What's going on?
Rory Byrne switches the play to the far side, gives it to John Mon. He's going to go long, trying to win it out in front of his man as James Durkin gets a flick to it. 2 players going for it. He has help. He has Neil Douglas on his left shoulder if he wants to use him. He decides he's going to have a go himself, and he's put that over the bar. Super score from James Durkin.
James Durkin, an exciting player, James. Again, a ball that broke over the top there, and Castlebar got onto it.
1-7-7, and there's a bit of a problem here for Enda Hessian. He's pulled up short. I think it's his. He's getting a little bit of assistance with it. He took a little bang on the groin or the hip. Could be just his hip flexor maybe, but the physio is there with the with the ice. Going to put a little bit on it just to try and numb the pain to get him through to half-time. We're not far away from that, as the supporters here in Claremorris are huddling under cover when the rain starts, but the sunshine is here at the moment, and it's been a super game of football so far, end to end.
Yeah,
both teams trying to.
Hessian is still down.
He is indeed, and whatever it is, it's definitely his groin area. And Garrymore are just going to be playing with 14 men for the time being. As we said, we're approaching half-time here in Claremorris, and Garrymore just want to play a little bit of keep ball, but that's dangerous in your own full back line, and that's what can happen. And that's going to be free out. It looked like he was going to be done for overcarrying, and we saw that the last day in Nahamore.
Some referees would pull that now.
Oh, that's a good take by Liam O'Gorkin in between two Castlebar players, but you can see what Castlebar are trying to do when Garrymore press him. They're going on a high press. And Garrymore are going to try and run it out, but they're held up, and it looked like it was a foul, but they managed to squirm it out. Nally can't keep the ball. Now, he was going down anyway, and it was a bit of a trailing arm that caught him, but Castlebar just get on with the game. Paddy Heenan is looking for the ball, but James Durkin is hunting as well, as is Ulton O'Reilly, and it looks like it's a bit of a scrum down there at the moment. They're trying to release the ball. Paddy Heenan is trying to get away from 1 and 2. Now he's done for overcarrying.
Yeah, you just wonder sometimes, the referees are inclined to do that nowadays. Let this kind of pulling and dragging go, and the player that's been pulled and dragged never gets free.
Carl Slattery looking for that diagonal ball across to Paul Deely. Try to cut across his man. Winning the ball out in front is Shane Nally. Tight to the corner, Nally. They're looking for a touch the ball on the ground. The Garrymore management in front of us, but he's keeping possession of the ball. Gary Golden is available. There's a switch the far side if they want to use it. Golden's seen him and looped over the top to the centre back. Caelan Crowe, the captain for Garrymore, looking to get on the score sheet, but Garrymore looking to keep the ball until they can engineer that opportunity, and he's kept going forward. There's a chance here of another goal. It's a one-on-one at the back, but the referee saw that he was pulling the arm of the defender, and it's going to be a free out. So
again, it was a dangerous ball across.
It was indeed, because Trevor Nally created the first goal for Enda Hessian with the same tactic, and this time he was looking for the run of his midfielder, but he was fouled as he was getting the ball, and Castlebar looked to come away. Donny Newcombe to Dunham McHugh, diagonal long ball forward, looking for the run of Owen O'Reilly. It's over his shoulder. Is he going to be able to keep it in? No.
Just hit too hard,
Yeah. As we said, the sun now shining. It's been an intriguing contest so far, Billy, and it's only the goal from Enda Hessian that separates the two teams.
That separates the teams at the moment.
That's a pull of the jersey. That'll be a free all day. Even though
I think it was about black. No,
it was as blatant as a pull on a jersey as you could have seen, really, right in front of the referee. So there's a tick there as Garrymore are going to have the free, and they decide to go back towards safety. Kenneth Lydon coming up from fullback for Garrymore. Positions and numbers mean very little in the modern game now, Billy.
Nowadays,
as Lydon is still going forward.
Really all over the place. Players are attacking from all angles.
That's a big hit from Trevor Nally from 40 metres out the field. Trevor Nally with an absolute bomb.
Yeah, he's known to do those kinds of things, Tom, and he's known to get goals too. But that was a crazy shot.
Trevor Nally seemed to say, I have had enough of this running about. I'm just going to put my butt through it.
Let's have a go at this.
And into the breeze. That was a super finish. Puts them 1-8 to 7 up. We're playing whatever time the referee, Liam Devaney, has for injuries. And there's only been a couple of stoppages. And Castlebar want to close that gap. They want to get it down to a single score if they can. Little ball over the top. Neil Douglas had snuck inside. Neil Douglas! Brilliant save from Linsky down low to his left. And back there to help clear up the damages, Nally, and they get the ball away to Enda Hessian. Hessian trying to get away. He's fouled as he's trying to get out. But a super save.
Match-winning save there from Brian Linsky.
Neil Douglas had ghosted him behind the defence.
Yeah, he could have gone another couple of steps. I think he kicked too soon, Tom. He had open space in front of him. He could have gone towards Linsky and taken him out of it. But he shot, and Linsky went down and saved it.
Now, we could have a problem here for Enda Hessian. He pulled up with a bit of a groin injury a minute ago. Yeah. He seemed to overstretch here, and if his game is out, that'll be a big blow for Gary.
Huge blow, 1-2 from half back. Yeah, he looks like he's in a little bit of trouble, all right. But
now there was a
suppose
suspicion
half
before the
time
game
maybe.
that he was carrying a niggle,
yeah,
and he looks
he's
to
up
have
again.
exaggerated.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's up
Yeah.
on his feet.
Doesn't give in too easily in the.
No, he's made of hardy stuff.
Yeah.
But Brian Linsky defied all
He
the
did, yeah. He
ages
saved the
there.
day now.
Super save.
That save could be very important at the end of the day.
Hessian showing no ill effects of his injury.
I don't think there's anything wrong with him.
Sidesteps and damage, and he's off like a train. He has Carl Slattery for company. There's a switch ball on, but that's overhit.
Yeah.
You can see what they were trying to do. They were trying to find Paul Deely on the edge of the square, but the pass was just overhit. And back helping out at wing back is Paddy Heenan. He's been virtually all over the pitch. Paddy Durkin is not proven to be as big a threat as he has in other games. He's not been allowed to get up that head of steam as Garrymore funnel back in their defensive shape. They've pulled everybody back bar one, and they've managed to turn over the ball with those numbers, and they look to launch a counter. And the referee says it's a free out. He's going to go over to I think is it John Maughan, and the referee is saying enough's enough. It's going to be half time. So it's half time here in Claremorris, and Garrymore lead on a scoreline of 1-8 to 7. And you'd have to say they're full value for the lead so far.
They are, Tom. Yeah, they're the better team really, and they're when they're driving forward, they're really good. You know, from midfield, they're like, say, you know, Gary Golden there, when he drives forward at the goal, like he's you know, it's very hard to stop him. And then you have the likes of Liam O'Cork and Shane Nally, those fellas in that half forward line, and then you have Hessian coming from the back, Keelan Crowe coming from the back, and Trevor Nally. That's a real great half back line there for Garrymore. They're all good attacking players, and they create an extra player, the extra bodies going up the field, and they're playing 1-2s, and it's working, Tom. Yeah. And they look like they're going to get in for maybe another goal.
They'd still have to be careful though. A couple of times they're like, you saw there Neil Douglas ghosted in behind their defence there. They're so focused on getting to the ball carrier that Douglas just tracked in behind.
Yeah, Neil Douglas should really have a slot of that. Like, player of his ability, Tom, should have really put that in the net, because he had another 5 yards to go to really bury it. He kicked that a little bit too soon.
So half time,
but a good
save from Linsky. Now it's at half time here in Claremorris. It's Garrymore who lead 1-8 to 7 points. Join us in a few minutes' time. Welcome back to Claremorris for the second half of the Connacht Gold Senior Football Championship quarter-final. And Garrymore already out on the field. We're just waiting for Castlebar. Referee Liam Devaney is ready to go. This time we do have 2 footballs on the field, just in case there's a problem with finding the one that we didn't have at the very start. There's a substitution on the Garrymore team. We're just waiting for confirmation. So it looks like Enda Varley is coming on from the start. So, as we surmised at the beginning, Enda Hessian has been withdrawn at half-time and Enda Varley has come in. So, and number 19, Patrick Hessian. Patrick has come in and it looks like, is it Mark Tierney has been taken as well? Darren Quinn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Darren Quinn is off and Enda Varley is on, and Enda Hessian is off, and Patrick Hessian, the other Hessian sibling, is on the field. So 2 changes at the start of half-time that were one was probably enforced, Billy, and the other a tactical one, I'd say, with Enda Varley coming back.
Yeah, we're looking at Enda there. We knew he was struggling somewhat.
Yeah. So maybe it'll be a Peter Canavan-style substitution. They'll look to spring him for the last 10 minutes if they need him. But we're back underway here at Claremorris. And Castlebar know they need to perform better. They're still within touch and distance of Garrymore, but the breeze will be with Garrymore. It's died down a little bit from what it was in the first half, as Paddy Durkin, as we were talking about at the start of the half-time. It's been a bit of a change. And there's a half chance of a goal, and Neil Douglas tried to pull on it first time, couldn't get his feet to it, sorted out quick enough, and there's a bit of a rugby tag going on, and it's Patrick Hessian who's trying to get the ball away. He does, he gets it into the hands of Shane Nally, and Shane Nally decides that it's distance this needs. Trying to win it out in front of his man is Paul Deely. Deely gives the ball up to Enda Varley for his first touch of the game. Back out it goes. Little ball inside, just couldn't get his hand to it, and that ball is tipped away. So Castlebar have made, as I said, have rung the changes as well. 3 changes for Castlebar, 2 for Garrymore, and Alan Flynn and his selectors are going to have to chase this game now, and they're going to have to push on. Danny Kirby is in on this near side, and I don't think anybody's picking him up at the moment, but they're building their attack in front of the stand. Pops it out ahead, comes back inside to Connor Stenson. Ball to the top, trying to cut inside is Durkin. He's trying to get away from his marker, but it's been a dogfight in there with Jamie Oates all day, and they decide that they need to recycle.
Garrymore pushing them back all the time.
Yeah, Paddy Heenan back out around the 45 where he's been most of the game. Paddy, if you get him close to goal, he can be lethal, and they're looking to let Patrick Durkin get up ahead of steam. He's being shadowed there very, very closely.
Yeah,
Liam Harkin
is doing the job there.
But they've nearly turned it over there. Harkin and Durkin have been never more than a stitch of a jersey apart, as that shot is blocked down from Stenson. And Garrymore are trying to find it difficult. There's a challenge in the back when the man was on the ground. There was no need to make that challenge, Patrick Hessian. So it's going to be a 13-metre free, and you'd be thinking it'd be the opening score of the game to get it back to win the goal.
Yeah, I'd say Douglas. Well, I'm not sure. Is it Douglas or James? I think it's James.
Durkin,
Durkin, yeah. First time we've seen Paddy Durkin making a raid, but Liam Harkin is doing a great job on him. He's staying step for step with him all the way.
Durkin duly obliges and puts it over for the opening score of the half. That brings it back to a goal between the teams, and James Durkin with his third of the afternoon.
And I think the breeze is...
It has definitely died down. You can see from the flags on the far side, it's not as strong as it was in the first half. Linsky hits it along towards Gary Golden, trying to create a bit of space for the breaking ball. Garrymore happy to receive it. David Dolan to Nally. trying to find Cathal Slattery. Cathal Slattery had come inside and Nally didn't pick up on it, so it goes out over the sideline for a sideline ball. Quickly taken, but trying to win it back is Slattery. They've managed to get themselves in a bit of bother here. But now they're going back and around. Switching the ball play to Paddy Durkin. Trying to get a bit of momentum. Castlebar driving forward is Stinson. He's being hassled and harried the whole time by Dealey. Danny Kirby. They're holding 3 inside. Paddy Heenan is back inside the 21, and now they're having an overlap. Keep pushing forward. James Durkin sells the dummy hand pass, trying to confuse the Garrymore defence, and he probably confused himself, to be honest with you, because he went to do the dummy hand pass, then he tried to cut inside and tried to solo it, and he just got himself into all sorts of bother.
In a day like today, you know, you cut out a lot of this stuff, Tom.
You do indeed.
Keep it awful simple.
And ball now back with Linsky, who has made a couple of saves in this game that have kept Garrymore's lead. It's only the goal that separates them. Enda Hession's goal in the first half. He's not on now. He's been withdrawn at half time with a groin injury. Oops. But they're looking to break down the far side. Justin Cummins is trying to keep this ball in. Gets there ahead of his marker. Garrymore have Gary Golden coming at pace if they want to use him. Varley keeps the ball, keeps it moving. Garrymore, as we said, trying to reach a county semi-final. It's 1982 was their last Montclair Cup success. That team of the late 70s and 80s, legends around the South Mayo. Little ball inside, trying to find Enda Varley, but that's just too far ahead of him. But you can see what the intent was. They're trying to just get that Castlebar defence turned.
Yeah, and it's sliding off the wet surface as well, Tom.
Gary Golden reads that ball, and Gary Golden is fouled. Both him and Danny Kirby went for the ball. I think Danny Kirby lost his footing and ended up taking out Gary Golden. I don't think it was intentional, but it was effective nonetheless.
Gary was driving forward. That's it.
That's it, and it's going to be Mark Tierney from 45 metres. He'll have that little bit breeze behind him. Makes a clean enough connection, but it doesn't have the accuracy, and that's pulled to the left for the first wide of the second half. And it goes to Garrymore. 1-8. And I think this one, as you said, Billy, could be going to the wire as many of the games did yesterday. That kick out this time, read well by Liam O'Corkin, but it's broken kindly for Gavin Durkin. Gavin to Paddy, and Paddy's off to the races. Sean O'Corkin trying to get back to him as fast as he can. He's got help coming. Gary Golden gets a hand in. Paddy Heenan has a player free on the far side if he wants to use him. There's an overlap here, and there's a chance of a score for Castlebar. Castlebar put that over the bar. Good finish. That's 9 points.
I'm trying to see who kicked that, Tom.
Yeah, I think it was
a good
the
move.
Substitute was a really good move.
Yeah. Paddy Durkin really came into it there, you see.
The last couple of breaks,
Liam Logue knew he had gone them, but he was catching up on him all the way.
Kick out possession can't be taken as by Garrymore as Danny Kirby looks to release Donny Newcombe. Little fist pass up. Castlebar starting to find the pockets of space. Another McHugh up from corner back. He has a look at the posts. That's going to drop short. Out comes Linsky. He read it all the way, and he absolutely clings James Durkin as he was watching the ball. Fair play to James Durkin. He was up straight away, and Cathal Slattery is back helping out his defence. He's going one way, then the other. He still has the ball. He's trying to get away from two Castlebar players, goes in field and managed to hit the dirty. It was heart and mouth football there for a moment for the mentors on the sideline, because Cathal Slattery was going.
Everybody was calling for frees there, Tom.
No free accruing, said the referee, as Trevor Nally to Golden, trying to get away from Danny Kirby. It's been a titanic tussle there between those two all afternoon.
Yeah.
And it's going to be
a tussle between two big guys.
Yeah, it's good to see as it draws the foul. So it's going to be a free for Garrymore. They're going to give this one to Shane Nally probably, who's going to have a go.
Shane is capable from here now.
Yeah, and as we said, that little bit of breeze is behind him. So if he gets it anyway right, he's probably in line with the right hand upright, but he decides to go short to Gary Golden. Gary has a look at the post. He swings his right boot at that, but that's pulled badly to the left and wide. And Garrymore,
I make it 8 about Tom.
Yeah, 8 wides they're going to make a change. Michael Connolly, who's initially down to start, he's going to be introduced now in just a moment for Garrymore, as that kick out is broken. Winning it on the ground, the dirty ball was the substitute, Patrick Hessian. And Garrymore look to build again for that patient style that they use. You can hear their mentors on the sideline saying keep it wide. They want to stretch this Castlebar defence. Caelan Crowe. It was an advantage coming from Caelan Crowe. It wasn't to do with the attack that was taken. It's taken quickly, but not from the right place. The referee insists, and it's being brought back. So it looks like the Martierney's game now. He was on a yellow card as well. It's going to be taken off, and coming in will be Michael Connolly. Not a bad player to be bringing in at this stage, Billy.
Good player, capable of getting a few scores, as he always does.
Yeah, so he'll go to wing forward, I think, and they'll try and push Cathal Slattery inside.
Maybe Cathal Slattery inside, yeah.
So the referee's waiting for Tierney to leave the field, because it'd be an unfair advantage to have 16 players against 15. So he's coming off as we speak.
Yeah,
this one looks like it's on target. It comes off the inside of the post, I think, and it goes over the bar. Really great strike from Shane Nally.
Yeah, Shane, from 60 yards, Shane can do those kind of kicks with his left boot.
So we're back to the goal between the two teams. Rory Byrne trying to find Danny Kirby. Connolly there touches it. The linesman gives it to Garrymore. Paddy Durkin thinks it's a Garrymore ball. So Castlebar retreat into their defensive shape, and that ball is hit forward. Slattery takes the push in the back from Newcombe, trying to come across him. He's inside him now. He's a player free just inside Enda Varley. Enda Varley goes for the fist pass. That's gone over the bar. It looked like it was going to drop short, but Enda Varley gets his first score of the game, and that pushes the Garrymore back to a 4-point lead.
4-point lead, yeah. Two good scores there for Garrymore. They needed them 2 scores now, because Castlebar were coming more and more into it.
Cathal Slattery is limping. Not sure if he pulled something in that little run that he made along the end line, but he has his hands on his knees at the moment. But play continues on as Castlebar really need to start making inroads into this Garrymore lead. Heenahan in front of the stand here in Claremorris loses his footing, manages to get the pass off, gives it back to Donald McHugh, and he's immediately hassled by Gary Golden. Heenahan again goes infield to Maughan. Little dink pass forward, wins it out in front of his man, takes the push in the back. Cute forward play is probably what you'd call it from Neil Douglas.
Yeah.
Knew the challenge was coming, so he'll take his free.
Years of experience there, Tom.
So he's stealing 2 or 3 yards. So the call on the sideline was that it's going to go short, and indeed it does. And they're back on the attack, Castlebar. Heenahan. Trevor Nally trying to get across and gives it to Paddy Durkin. There's a bit of a gap open up. Paddy with that hop, skip and a jump run style of his. Comes back around again, and Garrymore back in that defensive shape. Just forcing Castlebar to try and find a gap. Being very patient and diligent. Gavin Durkin. Back out the field it comes to Anthony Boyle. Boyle came on last time out and scored 3 great points versus Ballahadreen in that Titanic contest over Nahamore under lights. Danny Kirby spins his marker, but that's gone to the right and wide. So Castlebar, that's their first wide of the second half, and they just patient play, but they had the ball for a good 90 seconds and they don't get a score out of it.
Garrymore defence are very set, like they're doing their job brilliantly at the moment. They're giving no space to Castlebar to get a shot in.
The Garrymore management team of Damien Egan, Miles Fallon, Martin Maloney, Jared Varley, Shane Moore and David Hughes in constant communication here on the sideline, ensuring that they've every base covered. And it's going to be a Garrymore. The linesman is saying it's a Garrymore ball. The referee says it's a Castlebar ball. Now the two of them are going to have a bit of a chat and see who's right. And Liam Devaney, the referee, is saying I'm usually right, so it's a Castlebar ball. So it's a Castlebar ball. So,
but they need a linesman for Tom.
So it's going to be a Castlebar sideline ball. Castlebar again trying to get through the runners. It's Danny Kirby this time. He's going to try and come back on his right. There's the support off his shoulder here with late runners coming through. Kirby has kept his run going, takes the ball at a slide, but he collected the ball on the ground. Says the referee. It's going to be a free out for Castlebar. But Garrymore, once they pull back 12 players behind the ball.
A lot of hand passing, Tom, in those conditions, it doesn't hold.
As we said, it overcomplicates it just a small bit. So we're just going to see now Castlebar will be introducing the sub shortly, but that's a good pass, well taken by Connolly. Fresh legs in for this Garrymore attack, looking for the run of Enda Varley. Can't get away from his marker. Good covering there by Mark Dolan. Couldn't fall for Sean Oak, who kept his run. Liam Oak, sorry, who kept his run going. But it was the intent was clear what he was trying to do, but the execution just wasn't there. 110-9 points as we approach the second water break here on Mayo GATV live coverage of the Connacht Gold Senior Football Championship. The draw will be later on tonight for the semi-final pairings in the competitions that have been made already and the relegation finals, and they'll all be played in 2 weeks' time, and that's another bumper weekend, Billy, of football available here on Mayo GATV.
Yes, certainly be exciting stuff. Castlebar find it very hard to make any ground, Tom.
They are indeed, as we said. That red wall of Garrymore is just
great credit to Garrymore. Yeah,
they're very disciplined in their structure. As we said, they're pulling 12 and 13 players back, and they're restricting Castlebar to these long options. Danny Kirby takes the ball close to the end line. Kirby manages to switch the ball across. He's trying to find Donny Newcombe. It goes over his head, but back there helping out his defences. Connolly and Garrymore have the opportunity here to launch a counter attack if they want to. Trying to takes an extra step or two, maybe. No, says the referee. Dealey going in field. Crash runner now from Slattery. Slattery plays it up to Liam O'Corkin. Castlebar now start to funnel their players back in their defensive structure. I think who's going to have the better fitness, Billy, is the team that's going to last out here.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, it's in-to-win stuff at the moment, Tom. But the scores are very hard come by.
Connolly gives it to Slattery, looking to get the return ball. Slattery trying to win his own missed pass. It goes close to the sideline. There's bodies everywhere. The referee linesman has his flag up. He's seen something. I'm not sure if there was a player out of play. And Varley turns around to see what's going on. And it's going to be a sideline ball for Castlebar. Paddy Durkin goes back to Mark Dolan, switching the play to Rory Byrne. And Castlebar, as Garrymore start to funnel their players back in their defensive shape, Castlebar push up a wall of yellow, and that's quick hands there to John Munn. He's a player on the overlap. It's Paddy Heenahan. Heenahan is going to have a go off the right from a tight angle, but he's hooked that too far, and it's gone wide. It looked as though it came off the boot of the defender as it came down out of the sky, but the umpire called it wide. So Paul Walsh looks like he's going to be introduced now shortly, and as we said, Billy, in the game against Ballahadreen, he came in and made a bit of a good impact.
Yeah, he's a very, very good player, very good score getter, which they probably need at this stage, Tom, because they run out of ideas. They're great to maybe 30 yards out, and then it all falls through. They have a lot of football played up to that 30 metre line, but they're not getting anything inside.
Yeah, so it's going to be what the water break is on. It's going to be substitute. Ulton O'Reilly is the player who's going to be withdrawn. Owen Boyle is the player that comes on, and Garrymore are being very, very shrewd with their defensive structure. As I said, they're pulling their team back, and they're just, as I said, two defensive shapes, and it's very hard to break down. It's attritional stuff at times, Billy.
It is, but it's the way football is really gone now, Tom. You know, it's all about big defences and players moving up and down the field and forward and back again to defend. And that's the way it is. Like that's football now, and you know, it's effective for Garrymore at the moment. They're doing brilliantly. Castlebar, while they're able to work it out of defence, work it all the way up the field, but when it comes to the important area of the field, Tom, to get the scores, doesn't happen.
So Barry Moran looks like he's going to be brought in as well. You can see Barry probably going maybe to the edge of put Barry into midfield, put Danny Kirby on the edge of the square.
Yeah, they have to add something inside, Tom, that will give them a bit of power.
Yeah, so it looks like that's the move as the players come back out. I don't see Danny. Actually, I think is it Danny Kirby who's been withdrawn for Barry Moran?
Not sure. Can't really see.
Yeah, Danny Kirby's on the sideline here beside us. So it's Barry Moran for Danny Kirby.
Yeah. Okay.
And the kick out from Linsky is turned over. And first touch of the game for Walsh. He's a quick fleet of foot player. He loves to run at defences. He has an eye for scores as well as Castlebar. Try to work that opportunity. They eventually do switch it out to Walsh. He's going to have a cut with his left boot off his instep. It goes to the back post. Wow. And that almost a touch from, looks like it was a Barry Moran who'd gone in at the back post. Yeah. Didn't get a touch on it, but it was a sniff of a goal.
It was a dangerous ball there, yeah. But his touch would have knocked it into the net.
Yeah, it looked like Kenneth Lydon might be in a bit of trouble here. He's, I think Barry Moran landed on top of him, which isn't a nice thing at any stage. Big Bird is affectionately known.
Like he's in a bit of trouble, all right. Yeah.
But it's going to be a kick out for Garrymore as we're in the final quarter of the quarterfinals of the Mayo Senior Football Championship for 2021. Linsky stumps it long. Yeah. Broken around the middle. Gary Golden trying to get the ball up, gets it at the second attempt. Looking to play it immediately inside, gets it off to Dealey. Dealey's going to have a look at the post, and that's Gary Moore's first score of the water break. That's only the third score they've had in this half, and you'd have to say Castlebar will be very, very frustrated. They've only got 2 points in this half.
Yeah, brilliant score there by Dealey, but a great bit of play again by Gary Golden.
The minutes tick by for Castlebar. They know they need to do something special, and they're not going to do it with balls like that.
It's not really happening for them, Tom.
And it hasn't really happened to them in a couple of years, Billy. They didn't get out of the group last year, and this year they found it very difficult as they tried to release Barry, and as the two Garrymore players come together, but it's well picked up by Patrick Hessian.
Yeah, Garrymore defence doing brilliantly. Yeah, they're just outstanding.
Trevor Nally, always available for the ball, pumps it forward towards Trevor, in front of Paul Dealey. Dealey then gives it away. A good turnover by the substitute Stinson. Paddy Durkin takes the free quickly. They have to push forward. Heenahan now on the attack. Paddy Durkin is driven forward as well. Heenahan has a player free on the right hand side. He shifts it over to James Durkin. James Durkin has a look at the post, and James Durkin from a cute angle puts it over the bar. So it's back to a goal, Billy.
Back to a goal, yeah. Dangerous kind of a lead, Tom, when you're coming towards the end of a game, but
as we saw in those games yesterday, if there's a kick of the ball between the two teams as the game goes on. Newcomb trying to push his Castlebar Mitchels team forward. Back to Durkin, to Heenahan. They're going to have a go. He's going to hit that, and that's over the bar. That's two quick scores in succession, and that's done really well by Paddy Heenahan. And it's a super finish, and Castlebar, as we've seen in games, Billy, water breaks can have a massive impact on games.
It's happened in all the weekend games, Tom, where the water break has turned games completely around.
Cathal Slattery takes the kick out. The breeze is picked up again in favour for Garrymore. Slattery gets away from one, trying to get away from a second, but he's dragged to the ground, and that's a free given away by Gavin Durkin. And Slattery, as we said, who had a little bit of a niggle in the first half, is down on his haunches. It looks to be in a little bit of distress. He might have got an awkward knock, shall we say.
Yeah, he has been troubled with a hamstring injury over the last couple of weeks, Tom, I know that.
Yeah, and, I've a funny feeling it's not his hamstring.
Not the hamstring, no, I'd say it's maybe more dead
could
leg.
Could be groinal.
Yeah, something into the side of the leg.
Maybe, yeah, there was a flailing tackle.
Like he's alright.
But he's alright, he's made of hardy stuff. So Garrymore, as I said, find themselves in the position of being a goal up. It's going to be, as we said, an exciting finish to this game. It's, as you said, Billy, it wasn't ever going to be a high-scoring game.
Never, no.
But 1-11 to 11 isn't 12, 15 scores we thought would win it.
I suppose at the end of the day, into Hessian's goal could be the difference, and Brian Linsky's save. as well. Two
crucial
stand
points.
out.
Yeah, as we said, and Hessian not on the field for the second half. He's definitely
Garrymore
out of
making
it.
another
The 2 weeks there, indeed.
I think it's Brendan Walsh that's coming in.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting ready to come in. And the substitutes have made a difference since they've come in for both sides, and that's a long diagonal ball in, brilliantly taken by Varley, and that's what he can do. That ball just into the breadbasket, as they say. He spun and just popped it over the bar. Super finish,
yeah. But he used all his experience there in shielding that ball.
112 for Garrymore, 11 points Castlebar. Something has to give here for one of these teams to progress through. Garrymore just have to be patient. Castlebar are going to have to find a goal from somewhere because they're being frustrated by that resolute Garrymore defence. Strong challenge again, well taken by Caelan Crowe, the captain, led by example all afternoon. Garrymore have a player overlap here. Castlebar, they're trying to make use of it. Walsh gets down on the ball. He's trying to get to his feet. He manages to get it up into his hand at the second or third attempt. He's trying to burrow his way through. The referee says he was impeded, and it's going to be a 21-metre free right in front of the posts.
Yeah, I thought the Garrymore defence was doing everything right there, Tom.
So frustration on the Garrymore sideline as well for that decision. Durkin, he's going to have a swing of the foot at this one. Taps it over. That's his 5th of the game. 5 for Heenahan. 5 for Durkin, sorry.
Durkin, yeah. Back to 3 again, Tom.
Back to 3 again, as we said, Billy.
It's that kind of a lead.
it's one of those leads where a mistake or a spill ball could make all the difference. It was a spill ball that time, but he recovered well, Justin Commons. But they're putting themselves in bother now as Castlebar put on the full court press. They're pressing really high up. Barely almost caught by Barry Moran as going across their own goal. The Castlebar players are trying to stop the Garrymore team from breaking out of their own 45. Heenahan. 2 players hit the ground as the ball is continuing around. It's spilt then by Connolly. Players hitting the ground left, right and centre. The ball is spilled on. It's Gary Golden trying to help out, and his referee says there was a foul. David Dolan went down to get the ball, and Garrymore take the free quickly, releasing Liam O'Corkin. Horkin looking for Enda Varley, gets it out in front of his man. Varley pops it off, gives it back to Horkin. Connolly trying to come in on his left, surrounded by Castlebar players, and then he was getting done for over carrying. You can see he's predominantly left footed, so he was trying to get back inside, but he just over carried the ball. Paddy Heenahan pulls on that first time and wins it, gets the ball out in front of Neil Douglas. Douglas calling for a foul, but good turnover by Garrymore. Varley finds himself in midfield, diagonal ball across. Paddy Durkin trying to out jump, but doesn't get possession of the ball. Carrying the ball forward is Dolan, but he's drawn the foul. Paddy Durkin says it was a free. You've seen them give him both ways, Billy.
Yeah. It's the way refereeing is gone. You're sometimes wondering where the foul is, Tom. But yeah, it's a free into Garrymore now. Could put them the 4 clear again.
Both midfielders are down injured. Gary Golden seems to have a cut on his leg, and David Dolan looks like he wants to have a rest. They've put through a power of work in that midfield, Billy.
They have, yeah, and the conditions certainly. They're out on their feet now at this stage. Yeah,
they're just trying to get the last few minutes. There's 5 left. It's going to be a free for Garrymore. This is a crucial
3 or 4.
Yeah,
so there could be 8, 9 yet.
So it's going to be Paul Deely, 30 metres out in front of the posts. Strikes it cleanly, strikes it true, and he puts that over the bar. It's back to a 4-point lead, Billy.
Yeah, the 4 points is what Garrymore needs to have going into the last few minutes.
Deely's 3rd of the game, and there's a substitution, as you said, getting ready for Garrymore. Indeed, it's Brendan Walsh who's going to be entering the game shortly as Rory Byrne. They're getting pushed around, and as hard as both teams are finding it to get out of their half, Paddy Durkin decides he's going to go to the races. There's a player free this side if he wants to use him. Dolan is up with this attack. up to the 45, looking for options as cover back for Garrymore. That's a poor hand pass behind the intended targets, and James Durkin comes around to take control of the situation, slips it inside to Moran. Moran slips it off again. Stinson trying to turn. Moran's kept his run going. Big challenges coming in left and right. Trevor Nally back there. Caelan Crowe back helping out. Goes eventually back to the goalkeeper, to Linsky. And Gary, there's a loose hand pass by Linsky. He loses the ball and then he's fouled by Walsh. And they got themselves out of jail there, you'd have to say, Billy.
He done great though. He put his body on the line there, really, Brian. But scary moments there.
David Dolan's day game is done. They're going to bring in Brendan Walsh, and Dolan will see the game out on the sideline. His shift is done. He's put in a massive shift for his team today, Billy.
Oh, yeah. Great experienced player.
Dennis. So we have 3 minutes plus injury time left. Just confirming that with the fourth official, Dennis Harrington. Garrymore are going to make another change. They're going to bring in Kieran Cunningham. A bit of experience just to see this game out. We could have as many as 3 to 4 minutes of injury time, as Castlebar are still trying to create an opportunity. 12 plays 113. It's the 4-point game. So they're going to take off Paul Deely.
They seem to have it in hand all day, really, Tom. You know,
Garrymore have been very patient on the ball. It's actually called Slattery they're taking off.
Yeah, they've defended very well.
So Cathal Slattery is coming off in place of Kieran Cunningham. He was, as we said, he had a bit of a knock in the first half. As that ball goes towards Enda Varley, it's flicked wide. Enda Varley remonstrates with the umpires, saying it came off the Castlebar player. But Cathal Slattery, his game is over, as the kick out comes long, out to midfield, trying to break it, but it goes the way of Garrymore. Super covering there by Trevor Nally, and Garrymore now just have to be patient. Dangerous hand pass over the head of James Durkin there by
Brendan
Walsh. You've seen those intercepted as Paddy Heenahan tries to dispossess the runner. Back to goes Gary Golden. He decides he's going to go back to the fullback, and it's going all the way. This is a dangerous ploy. You've seen teams lose the ball and trying to keep possession of it, but Gary Golden eventually goes forward. Varley wins it out in front of his man. Closely marshaled by Maughan, but Gary Golden's kept his run going. Gary Golden, Paddy Durkin is trying to get back to him. Spins inside, lays it off to Deely. Deely with his left boot, and that surely is the insurance score that Garrymore needed. That makes the difference, 5 points.
Yeah, great work again by Gary Golden. Really outstanding today. His driving at the Castlebar defence all day has caused all kinds of trouble. Created the opening there. Enda Varley won a very hard ball. Took it well, laid it off when he was on the ground, and put Gary Golden through, and Daly finished it.
So Garrymore now 5 points to the good, as John Munn and his teammates have to get a score. They need to get something on the scoreboard. A goal would change the complexity of this altogether, but that's kicked right in, brilliantly blocked down by Trevor Nally. He's hurt himself in the process, but there's an overlap on. They have a player free inside, but Deely just over his head. It had too much pace on it. That block shot a pain right up through Trevor Nally. He's holding his forearm, but he's okay to continue.
Great ball by Lee Moog Harkin there. Great ball in over the top. It was perfect, really, only for maybe a little bit too hard.
Garrymore they've been able to repel the Castlebar attacks. Castlebar haven't scored since the James Durkin's point. There's 4 minutes of additional time has just gone up on the board as they're on the attack here. Neil Douglas draws the foul off Patrick Hession, and it's going to be a free in front of the post. This will bring the difference back to 4, but you'll be thinking that it's going to...
Yeah, 4 is good. Yeah.
And Durkin does get his 6th of the game. 13 to 114, time running out. Castlebar have to do something different here, Billy. They've not been able to. It's their plan A just hasn't really worked.
It hasn't worked. No, they've worked the ball so close to the goal, but it's in that last you know, 30 metres towards the Garrymore goal that they're losing.
Connor Sensen couldn't take the ball. Paddy Durkin was there available for it, and it's now in the hands of Heenan. He's going to carry the ball forward, diagonal ball towards Barrymore, and 2-3 pairs of hands going, but it's the captain, Caelan Crowe, just read the flight of the ball and was able to come out. Garrymore, he was falling and he was caught. It wasn't a high challenge per se. He was going to ground, but the referee, it was
more accidental than anything, really.
Indeed. And that respite for the Garrymore defence.
It'll slow down the game, and that's what Garrymore will want now at this stage.
At this late stage, who's been impressed for you today, Billy?
Well, I think the outstanding player for me would be Gary Golden in the middle of the field, no doubt about it. And I think number 2 is Brian Linsky.
Closely followed by the goalkeepers.
I don't often
go for the goalkeeper.
Go for goalkeepers.
But
I have a habit of going for Conor Forrest.
But to be fair, his save in the first half was crucial.
Crucial. And of course, in the Hessian before he went off was outstanding as well, you know.
But Gary Golden has bossed that midfield area of the field today. Yeah. Was ably supported by David Dolan.
He's going to be a handful for any midfielder in Mayo, and sometimes you wonder, as a big strong man like that somebody doesn't talk to him and bring him into different places.
Well, I'm sure he gets enough of it. He's well able to give it back, which
he wouldn't go straight at county level. I
think so. It could be worth
a
shout.
I've been talking about him for quite a while, but nobody's listening to him.
That ball is pumped forward, and the aforementioned Golden can't take it first time. He pops it for one of his teammates, Paddy Durkin, trying to strip the ball. It gets back to Golden. He's 3 for company. His awareness in possession is excellent. He rarely wastes a pass. And Garrymore now are going to draw another free. That tackle was slightly high from Neil Douglas.
Just frustration really now for Castlebar at this stage. You know, they're chasing the game 4 points down.
When you need players to step up with Garrymore, with the likes of Shane Nally, Trevor Nally, Caelan Crowe, Indevarley.
You look around their team there, they're all experienced players, Tom. Very experienced players. Where Castlebar, you're looking at the team, they're rebuilding. It's going to take time.
The thing that's noticeable, those players have stood up today and they've driven the team forward, whereas Castlebar seem to lack a little bit of leadership.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
In space is the McHugh. He's going forward. He has a pass available to him. Switch to play early. Little ball over the top towards Neil Douglas, but he can't get the ball at the first attempt. Caelan Crowe. It spills to Donny Newcombe. Infield to Walsh. Being marshalled by Patrick Hessian. Brilliant turnover by Hessian, and he pulls on it first time as he slid to the ground. Durkin. Paddy Durkin delivers a long ball in towards Barrymore, and it breaks down, but there's a Garrymore red shirt there forward, and driving out from the back is Kenneth Lydon, the fullback. And Garrymore survive another onslaught from Castlebar. They're 4 points ahead. They're eating into the time. There's 60 seconds left, but they've given that ball away. As we said, it's a two-score game. Castlebar need to get a goal. Who's going to step up? Who's going to be a leader? They have the twin towers at the moment in the full forward line. They have Stinson and Barrymore around the middle. They need to deliver the ball in, and James Durkin, Julia Price, Barry Durkin breaks it. But again, there's a Garrymore player there, and it's all over. Garrymore will be in the draw tonight for the Paddy Monclair Cup, and Garrymore, have to say, Billy, deserved winners.
Deserving winners, no doubt about it. And you just seen how their defence stood solid there, Tom. Even under Barry Morden, they knocked it away from, and they were there under him for the break. Every time there was 3 or 4 balls that went in there, they were dangerous, but Garrymore had bodies there to sweep it up.
Superb performance by the Garrymore team. Castlebar, another year without a final. And for them, as you say, Billy, they are a team in transition. They're trying to get young players into the team. But today, they've just come up a little bit short.
For players like Neely Douglas, Kirby, Owen O'Reilly, those kind of fellas, Ger McDonough,
Donny Newcombe. Yeah.
They have pocketfuls of more clear cups, and where do they get the hunger to go again, And it's all about a rebuilding job for Castlebar now.
It is indeed, but tonight there will be parties in Garrymore They're into the semi-final. The draw will take place later tonight. The runners and riders are known now, as they say. It'll be an exciting semi-final set up with Westport, Knockmore, Belmullet, and now Garrymore in the Mayo Senior Football Championship draw. My thanks to Billy Fitz for today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.